Welcome to our library webinar, Reading Online, an Introduction to eBooks. I'm Joanna Namath, and I'm the Digital Literacy Librarian. And I'm here with Jennifer Rempel, the Acting Associate University Librarian. Did you want to say hi, Jen?
Sure. Hi, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. So our agenda for today will be covering using AU Libraries catalogs to find ebooks, finding ebooks, ebook platforms, and frequently asked questions. And we'll go through kind of the main 7. Then we'll talk about general tips and getting help, and we'll have time for your questions. Feel free to pop any questions into the chat box as we go, or as I said, if you have anything to add, feel free to do that as well. And we'll go ahead and get started. Jen's going to start by talking about AU Libraries catalog.
All right, thanks, Joanna, and welcome everyone to our session. So we'll get started with a bit of background information. So AU Library, of course, has a catalog, and we have a variety of collections as well. So the entirety of AU Library's collection, so we do have a physical library up here in Athabasca. We do have quite an extensive collection. So we have over 100,007 electronic journals. So this is where you're going to go to find your academic publications, scholarly articles, that kind of thing. We do have over 150,000 print items and physical materials as well. So that's print books, DVDs, that kind of thing in our collection. And we also have over 300,000 ebooks. And just to differentiate, our electronic journals are in database collections, while our print books and our ebooks are in our catalog. And we actually have a webinar, our AU library orientation. It's called AU has a library, and we recommend you check that out if you want more information about our collections and about searching. This session will focus on ebooks. And again, we have over 300,000 of those. So this is just an example of what our catalog looks like. So I've just done a search here, and you can tell if it's an ebook or not, what kind of material it is, that kind of thing. So this is just what the catalog looks like. And this is how, in general, you're going to find ebooks, although we will point out some other places as well that you can look. So again, there are a few ways to search our catalog. And the 2 ways we're going to show are the books and media search and the AU Library Catalog AU Cat search. You can also search in our Discover tool. That's the main default search on the library homepage. That searches our catalog as well as most of our databases. We're not going to demonstrate that because it's frankly not the best way to find ebooks, but if you are interested in Discover, we also have a webinar on that, and we have a recording of the Hack the Library webinar on Discover if you want to check that out on our webinars page as well. So we are going to focus on our books and media search and our AU Library Catalog or AU Cat search. So again, moving on to finding ebooks, we're first going to demonstrate books and media. So again, when you're on the library homepage, you will see this search bar here in the middle. This is the main search for the entire site, and this is Discover that I pointed out to you before. The books and media search is where you can go to find our catalog. That's one way to search. So essentially, pretty easy. Click on that orange button, Books and Media, and type your keywords into the search bar and click Search. And this is what your search results will look like. I've chosen a pretty topical subject here, Black Lives Matter, in case you're curious about what kind of material we have on that. As you can see, I've done a search here, and my results show that we only have about 13 items on this topic. It's a pretty new topic, pretty new area of scholarly research. So we do have, you can see, 11 ebooks and 2 print books. Depending on your topic, you might see we have a lot more print or a lot more ebooks. It just really depends on what your search is. So you can see here, if you click on this ebook limiter, and this is just one of the limiters as well. Like you can limit by language, publication date, that kind of thing, but we're focusing on ebooks right now. So if you click on the ebooks box, it will filter out all of our print results, showing only ebook materials. In this case, it's filtered out our 2. This is a pretty basic search, so it filtered out 2 results. So we have 11 ebooks on this topic. And you can see here, when you look at the catalog record for all of these, it tells you immediately that it's an ebook. It shows you right there as well, and it shows you where you can link to it. So every ebook in our catalog will have a link that will say, view this ebook through Ebook Central or view it through Books 24/7, that kind of thing. So you will always find a link there to the book in our catalog. The second search I want to show you is our AU Library Catalog search, or AU Cat for short. This is a different interface. So again, to get to this search, if you click on the Books and Media tab, you'll see this link right below that search box. So if you click on that link, you will see it opens up a pretty different looking interface. It's a little bit more old school looking than our current one, but it's a pretty good search tool as well. And you kind of do here the opposite as you do in Books and Media. The Books and Media search, you do your search first, and then you can filter out to ebooks. What you can do here is click on Advanced Search, and then a new screen will open up with a whole bunch of fields you can fill in. So here, I'm doing the same search just to show you what it looks like, and you can fill in any field, like it'll be title, author, or keyword. Any field will just look for these words anywhere in the item. And then here, you click on Material Type and scroll all the way down till you find ebooks. So what you're doing here, in contrast to Books and Media, is you're filtering out all the print books first. So all you're going to see in your search results are ebooks. So now we'll click Search, and you'll see in my results pretty similar. This is showing 15. This is because, and you remember before we had 13. This is because this is a keyword search, and there's no quotation marks around the words. So it's looking for Black Lives Matter anywhere in the title or the metadata of the item. So just aware of that. That's why there's a bit of a discrepancy. But basically, we have 15 books that are ebooks that have these keywords somewhere in the data here. And you can see we have a bunch of them. And you can see immediately the icon in AUCAT for an ebook is a book with a little link on it. And again, pretty simple. It says view this book through Ebook Central. And that's how you go ahead and find that book. And I apologize, there's traffic outside my house, so you can probably hear the trucks driving by. So anyway, that's the basics of doing our Books and Media and our AUCAT search. And again, we do have tutorials on this topic as well, and we talk about this a bit more in our orientation as well. So, okay, so moving on, pretty basic. We also have, so I mentioned the catalog. The catalog contains items that we own. So we will buy print books, or we will buy from a vendor or a publisher ebooks. And when we buy a print book and we buy an ebook, we are sent metadata. Well, this is with ebooks. We are sent metadata. So what we're sent is the publication information. So title, author, subject headings, all that kind of stuff. And so it's findable through our catalog. In this case, with our ebook collections, we also have vendors who sell us ebooks in big bundles. So for example, Project Muse or JSTOR or other vendors, they'll just say, here's a big collection of books on these topics. There you are, you have access. The problem with that is they don't always give us records. So we can't put these books in our catalog. So that means if you do a catalog search for a topic, you will find the ebooks we own, but you won't necessarily find the ebooks we have access to in other collections. So I hope that's clear and makes sense. So we do have a place where you can do searches for these books. So again, on the library homepage, if you click on Find Resources, go to Resources by Subject or Title. And you'll see here, we have a few ways to search our resources. And our resources are basically databases. These might be journal article databases. As you can see here, we have directories and almanacs, we have atlases and maps, we have newspapers, journal articles, all kinds of different database collections, things that are electronic that we subscribe to. And on this page, you can browse by subject area, by title, you can kind of see there, or by type. So if you want to look for ebooks in particular and see all our ebook collections, under Browse by Type, choose Ebooks from the drop-down menu. And this will take you to a page with all of our ebook links. And this is just the top of the page. Of course, it's a much more extensive list than this. But this is just where you can go to find other ebooks that are not in our, or that might not be in our catalog. Some of them might be, but some of them might not. So just so you're aware of that, we have a whole bunch of different ebook collections that you can look at. And we'll show you a few of these today as well. All right, so I'll quickly show you our ebook platform. And well, we're going to talk about ebook platforms, and I'll show you our FAQ guide as well. So the FAQ guide is brand new. We just created this a few weeks ago. And this guide is essentially FAQs, really quick information on how an ebook platform works. So how you can find this, again, is on our homepage under Get Help and Get Research Help. And again, you'll see a big list of tutorials. And under ebook FAQs, you will find that guide. And Joanna has posted a link to that guide as well. And we'll talk a bit, what we'll do is for each platform, we'll just show you what that guide looks like and where you can find different information. And this is what the guide looks like. So this is our first page. Essentially, this is the home page. And you'll see here across the top, we have tabs for each of some of our different platforms. Now, do be aware, of course, this is only 7 of our most popular platforms. We do have quite a few ebook platforms, some of them less popular than others, or some of them not used as often. So if we had a webinar on all of our ebook platforms, it'd be way too long because we have dozens of them. So what we're going to focus on, we focus on in our FAQ page and in this presentation is just 7 of the most popular, most commonly used ebook platforms. And they can vary quite a bit, and we will get into that in more detail as we go on. But this is what the guide looks like essentially, and we'll show you different pages of it as we go. So I'll start with books 24/7, but before I do that, we have a poll. So just out of curiosity, if you've used any of these ebook platforms before, and if you haven't, that's fine too. So we'll give you maybe a minute or two, maybe 30 seconds to fill in those polls. Okay, thanks everyone. We'll give you maybe 5 more seconds. This is your last chance. If you haven't filled it in, please do that now. And if not, that's fine too. Totally voluntary. Yeah, so it looks like quite a few of you have used ebooks for your required course readings. That's pretty common. You often will be using an ebook chapter or a full ebook for your course. You'll find that in the DRR perhaps, or in your course page.
And we've got an overwhelming amount of EBSCO users for ebooks.
Yes, and EBSCO in particular is often used for courses as well. So, and one thing we should let you know about actually is this, not to muddy the waters too much, but there's ebooks and there's e-texts. So in your course Moodle, you often go to VitalSource, and VitalSource provides e-texts. So e-texts are actual textbooks, like Principles of Mathematics or Calculus, or a textbook that you will use in your course. E-books generally are print books that are not textbooks. So anything that's non-textbook related essentially is an ebook versus e-texts, which are the typical textbook you're going to use in a university course. So just be aware of that. There's a slight difference. So what we won't be talking about today, we were not talking about VitalSource or e-texts. We are focusing mainly on, or only on, ebooks. So just be aware of that slight difference there. But I will go ahead and hide the polls. And I'll show you our books 24/7 or books 24/7, either way, vendor. So if you look at this page here, this again is our FAQ for books 24/7. And the kind of information we have is, how do I read ebooks? Do I need an account? Can I download? Can I print? That kind of stuff. These are the major questions we get. As we get more questions about ebooks, we'll add to these, but these are the typical questions that we field about ebooks. And on the right-hand side, what we always try and do in each of these tabs is to include a link to support. So what you'll find is that if you have any questions at all about ebooks, if you run into technical problems, you can get in touch with the library and we'll help you out. But what you might find is the ebook vendors, of course, are the experts. They're the ones who know what they're doing with this technology. So if you have serious problems, hopefully you won't. But if it happens that you do, you can always contact their support and they can help you as an individual. And for video tutorials, if we happen to have a video tutorial, we'll include it there. Books 24/7 doesn't have any, so we include them if we can. So this platform is pretty straightforward. Again, I've just shown you a UCAT search I did. And again, you can see here, view this book through books 24/7. And then the link will take you directly to the book in the platform. Books 24/7 typically is books about information technology, business, management, that kind of thing. So you won't see a lot of literature or history and things like that. It's more focused on sciences rather than humanities. It's a pretty basic platform, and it's essentially one that you use to read books online. So in this platform, you can't download, you can't really create PDFs, so it's not as convenient, but it's more for HTML reading on the screen. So some of the features, the way you can go through the book and read it is you see on the left-hand side, you'll have all the chapters. And if you open up the little plus sign there, you'll see sub-chapters. So it's pretty easy to navigate in the ebook. And the chapters are usually pretty short. They're usually on one page. So if I click on chapter 1.1, selecting a geek leader, I will take a look at what that's about. And I'll see here I can read the chapter on the screen. And it's pretty basic HTML format. If you want to go back to a previous page, you can click on previous. You can scroll ahead in the book through next. Or if you want to skip ahead to a different chapter, you can do that as well through these links here. So again, pretty straightforward. One thing you'll often want to do, and we're going to talk about this a bit more, because what students will often do with an ebook is you'll find it online, you're doing a lot of research at the same time, and you want to just get an idea of what's out there, save a few things, and go back to them later. What you have to be very aware of with ebooks is if you, and this goes for almost every platform, if you want to save a link to the ebook, don't copy and paste the URL in your browser address bar. The ebooks that the library subscribes to or that we buy, they're behind what's called a proxy link. So that means you have to log into your library account to access the book, and they're behind a wall so that only AU students can access them. So if you copy and paste that link, it does not have the correct information in it, and you won't be able to get back to the book. So in this case, and we're going to show you the the permalinks or persistent links for all of them. So in this case, if I want to get back to this book and I want to save the link, and honestly, it's a good idea to do that if you want to get back to books, copy and paste these links with a note into a Word document or into an email that you can save. So here, to save this link, I want to click on that little envelope at the top. And this will be the share link. So what you can do is right down here, it's kind of small, but you can see chapter 1, the link right here. And you can see it has that easy proxy and some code in it, your login and stuff. So this allows you to get directly back to this book if you copy and paste this link. Unfortunately, with this platform, you cannot link to a direct chapter. It says chapter 1, but actually if you copy and paste this, it just takes you back to the book page. So you can link to the book itself, but not to an individual chapter. So there's a limit. What you will find as well is all these platforms are quite different, and they offer different levels of capability and functionality. And again, this is a pretty basic one. A lot of people ask about notes and annotations in e-text, or not e-text, in ebooks. And in this case, I'm showing you this, but it's actually of limited value, to be honest. You can put bookmarks and notes on the page if you want to, but again, your links will not be saved. Books 24/7 does not allow you to create personal accounts. So you will see a personal account function on the top right of the screen if you go to this platform, but you actually can't create accounts. The license we have does not allow that. And we get this, long story short, we get this platform through a consortium. So it's a whole bunch of libraries together pay for this resource. So we're not allowed to have individual personal accounts through that license. But so if you do want to create notes, you can do that. But as soon as you log out, as soon as you close the browser window, your notes are going to disappear. So not entirely useful. We're going to talk about that more later on, as I said. But if you want to take notes, it's better to do that in one place to keep them all in like a separate Word document or a spreadsheet, because honestly, limited value here, but I just thought I'd show you that anyway. So there is a notes function. And now Joanna will.
All right, thanks, Jen. So desLibris, quite similar to Books 24/7. So here's our FAQ page for it. Once again, there's a nice video tutorial here, and they've got the support link there, and all of those support centers are really useful. So always a good place to start. To get to it, you can select, as we showed you before, select Find Resources on the top of the library homepage, and then Resources by Subject or Title. Once you're in here, you can scroll down to eBooks and select desLibris. You can also do the D on this list, but I just figured I'd show you the other way. So we've got an example of a book here. You can see there's an option to share the link rather than using the hyperlink to create a shareable link. And we've got the cite book function here. So if we're going to share the link, it pops up and you can copy and paste it. That's easy. If you're going to cite the book, what comes up is an RIS file, which is useful for Zotero or Mendeley if you're using a citation management platform or software that we'll talk about a little more as we continue on. But otherwise, this particular isn't particularly useful. You can create a citation from this, but it's not really a citation on its own, but there is a way to get one. So I'll show you as we continue on. Okay, so once we're inside the book, there is a way to copy and paste the citation. You need to highlight a section and then you can select the citation button there. And you can see this is then if you're copying and pasting a quotation, but it does give you kind of a more regular citation. Doesn't give you options for like APA or MLA, but at least you're getting all of the information. If you're going to, sorry, I'm going to say one more thing about this. So you have to sign up and make an account to be able to create annotations. Unfortunately, like Books 24/7, these don't link up with the institutional account, so you don't have access. If you create a personal account, you won't have access to the university, what the university provides access to. So unless you already own the book from, say, some other reason in the past, it's not super useful. Yeah, so we won't talk too much about that. You've also got the option to print. Oh, there is no way to download. You can print but not download. And printing, as you can see, we've got the button here. Once you've got the pages open, it does seem kind of confusing because it will just show up with the page you're currently on, but you can put a page range in. You just have to include the dash and the end page. You are only allowed to print out 10% of the number of pages in the complete book. And when you're not allowed to print it all based on a permission, then there just won't be a print option. So I think that is about all for desLibris, and Jen's going to go on and talk about Ebook Central.
desLibris. All right, thanks, Joanna. And as you're talking, I realized I forgot to mention with Books 24/7, you can't print or download from there either. So again, you can copy and paste some text into a document, but you cannot download, cannot print. And again, that varies from vendor to vendor. It often depends on a copyright rule, which we'll talk more about in Ebook Central as well. So Ebook Central, you'll probably find, is one of the more comprehensive tools. So here again, we do have a pretty good overview video you can watch. And I link to support and, of course, our FAQs. Ebook Central is pretty popular, and a lot of our, as you saw in the search I did, they have a lot more modern books, and we have a lot of books from Ebook Central, which is pretty good because actually I would find of all the platforms, it's kind of one of the more functional and useful. So I've done a search, and this is my catalog search, my books and media search, and again, view this book through Ebook Central, click on the link, and it takes me to the page with the book on it. So in this case, a lot of options for reading these. So here you can see you can read online. Pretty basic, click on the read online link. It'll open up a window with the book's pages in it. Oh, sorry, phone's ringing. You can open a book with the page on it and just read the book online. And that's pretty basic. You don't need to do anything for that. Just click on the book and you're ready to read. One thing we get questions about a lot is about accounts. So what will often happen is, just go back real quick. Students will see this download book link and they'll want to download it. And they'll get to this window and it'll ask them to log in. Now, what you need to be aware of is, again, you can create an optional Ebook Central account, but it's entirely optional. And your Ebook Central account has nothing to do with your AU Library account. So students will get here and they'll say, okay, they'll put in their AU Library login and it won't work. That's because it's totally separate. So just so you know, you can create an optional by clicking on sign in. You get the option to create an account. It's entirely optional, but you do need to create an account to download books. So again, don't need an account to read online, totally fine. Well, you need a library account, but not an Ebook Central one. But to download the book, yes, you'll need an account with Ebook Central. So click sign in, click create account. And what you also have to do is download third-party software. They use, to read PDFs, they use Adobe Digital Editions. So once you create your account, they'll ask you a bunch of questions. Like it'll detect the device you're using, and it'll ask you to go through a bunch of questions, like what device is it, and where can I download this tool, and can you have permission to download it? So it's pretty straightforward if you feel like downloading books. Downloading does allow you to read offline. The read online link, of course, you have to be on the internet to do that. But anyway, if you click continue, it'll set up your account for you. And you'll see here too, so there's layers of complexity in terms of access. Different vendors allow different layers of access, and sometimes they offer different copyright protections on different books. So this book, you can only download a limited number of pages. You can print off 68 pages, and you can download and print 135. So very limited number of pages. And again, that's usually for copyright reasons. So it says you can download the PDF. If you download the book online, basically you quote unquote borrow it for 21 days. So it just stays in your account for 21 days and then it disappears. But here you can download the PDF chapter and print that off, but it's only a limited number of pages. And again, that varies from book to book. Because as you'll see here with this book, there actually are no restrictions. This book's a little bit older and it depends on the publisher's rules, but you can, this one, there's no limit. You can download the entire book, any PDF tool, and print it off. So if you chose to do that, you can. So it depends on the book as well. So moving on a bit, again, to share a link to the book, again, if you want to copy and paste a link, do not use the URL. If you use the URL from the address bar, you'll just go right back to the Adobe Connect, or sorry, the Ebook Central main page, and you don't want that. So to link to this book, click on that share link icon and copy and paste the link. And again, you'll see it has that code in it that knows that you're an AU student. And you can also share links directly to chapters, which is pretty useful as well. So in this case, this chapter is pretty useful for my research. I'm working on a paper with my friend. I want to send it to him or her. So I click on a little chain link there. And again, a permalink button will pop up. You can copy and paste the link directly to the chapter. So that's pretty helpful. So we do have more questions about bookshelf as well. So the bookshelf option is pretty interesting. This allows you to make annotations in the book. So essentially, again, sign up for the Ebook Central account to use this feature. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to do it. Again, the account is totally optional, but it is a free account too, so do be aware of that. So I have my account and I want to have access to this book to make notes in it. So I click on Add to Bookshelf. And then in my in my account, I can create different folders. So I have a folder called Research. So I'm going to add this book to that folder. Click on Add Item, and you'll see what that looks like in a moment. Because what I can do in these books is I can highlight different passages. So here you can see in the book, there will be on the top of the screen a link. It's a little highlighter pen. You can pick different colors as well. I think you can pick pink and blue too, so it's kind of fun. So you can highlight different sections of the book that are useful, and you can make notes. So that little piece of paper icon, you can write into here any notes you might have, any thoughts you might have about the link or about the information here that you find, and then click Save. And here's what my bookshelf looks like. So I've saved my annotation. I've saved this book to my bookshelf. It's available for me now. If I log out and log back in, my annotations will still be there. This is basically the only platform that allows this feature, so it's pretty useful. But again, you don't necessarily want to have your annotations all over the place. So if you are going to be using a lot of Ebook Central books, this can be very handy for you, because again, you can go in, add the book to your bookshelf, and save annotations, which you'll see here. And again, if you log out and log back in, they'll still be there. So very useful. Okay, so I will then go on to talk about ebooks on EBSCO host. Again, a lot of you mentioned using this platform as well. This is oftentimes where you're going to find books for your courses. Again, here's our FAQ page, what that looks like. And again, have a tutorial video, have a guide here for support, and then our FAQs. So Ebook Central is one of those books where if we've purchased a book individually, it might be in our catalog. However, Ebook Central also bundles up ebooks in big packages and sells them to and allows libraries to access them. So basically we're renting them. We're renting access to the book. So if you don't find a book you're looking for in the catalog, you might want to check EBSCO ebooks because they do have a lot of resources there that aren't in our catalog. So again, this is probably getting old for you, but I click on Find Resources, Resources by Subject or Title. You can click on E because you're looking for ebooks on EBSCOhost, and then follow that link into the collection. So in this instance, you can do a search for any book you want or any title, any keywords. In this case, I'm looking for a specific book. So I've searched for Indigenous rights. And again, if you're searching for a book by title, you want to include quotation marks around the title. So it'll include that. These keywords will be next to each other. So you can see my first result here is that book I'm looking for. So to access the book, I would click on the hyperlink here. And once I'm in the full record, you'll see there are a couple of ways to access the book. And I'm going to go through each one of these because they're a little bit different. So I click on PDF full text. What you'll find is that the book will open up in a new window, and you have to. It is a PDF document. It's an entire PDF, so limited availability to scroll to where you want. You can scroll all the way down the page. On the right, you can look at the title page and the copyright page and the table of contents, but you can't open them up. Basically, you're kind of stuck paging through the document page by page. So a better option is to use, if it's available, some of them, not all ebooks have these options. Some of them just have the PDF. You can do the EPUB full text. So this is quite a bit better. You do EPUB full text. You can see here, you can go the title, copyright, dedication, contents, and you can click through subchapters as well. So it's a much easier way to read the book because you can go directly to a chapter that you want, and you can kind of see what's in it. The PDF version is kind of clumsy. This is a bit easier to use. And unfortunately, I'll show you the full download. This is unfortunate for us because to download this book completely, you have to have an EBSCOhost account. And EBSCOhost accounts are currently not available to AU students. We're working on making that functional, but for now, we don't have access to accounts. So to download a book, you need an account, which we don't have. So you have to be online to read these books in this collection. And again, your EPUB is the best option. Full download, you'll just get this error message. So unfortunately, that doesn't work right now. In terms of hyperlinks, again, to copy and paste a link to this book, and this actually goes for our EBSCOhost, any of our EBSCOhost databases, and for Discover. Again, do not copy and paste the URL to the book, it won't work. So what you can do is do the permalink again. On the right-hand side, you'll see the permalink feature, and a little box will open up in which you can copy and paste this link. So again, this link will get you right back to this book. The URL in the browser will not, so do be aware of that. And it also has the option of chapter by chapter linking, which as we've shown, not all of them do. So here you can see I've gone to the chapter that I want and I want to share this. So I've clicked on the permalink button at the top. And again, this window will open up and I copy and paste this link. So again, pretty straightforward. It's a pretty easy platform as well. Now, Joanna will go on to talk about.
Awesome, thanks, Jen. So we've got JSTOR here. Here's our guide on it. You can see we've got a nice tutorial, and I did talk to them on their support link, and it looks like that's not in there, so I'll make sure to add that. They do have a live chat. So once again, to get into JSTOR, you can go into Find Resources on the top of the library homepage, then Resources by Subject or Title. Then you can select eBooks from the drop-down menu. That's the drop-down menu at the bottom here. And then alphabetical listing for JSTOR, or you could just select from the alphabetical list of J there to get to it, either way. So JSTOR doesn't have a specific link to just JSTOR books. So anytime you're going in, it's going to look the same, and you then have to limit to book chapters or books. So once we've selected a book that we want to have a look at, you can see that the permalink is listed here. So that's the nice stable link that you can share. Don't use the hyperlink. You can cite the item. In this case, it will be the whole book. And you can see it comes with options of different ways to cite. It also provides a note that all of these should provide, and you should know also, but you should always double check these for any errors, because these are all computerized, so there's bound to be a few errors. And likewise, you can export these to citation management softwares as well. So it also breaks everything down into chapters. So you can have a look at just one chapter, and you can either download the PDF, save it to your bookshelf, cite the chapter, which is quite useful, or of course read it online. Here's what citing the chapter looks like. So you can see we have the title of the chapter and then the book it's listed in. All right, so this is what going into the book looks like. There's no options for annotations or highlights. You can save it, as I was saying, to a kind of bookshelf called a workspace, and then you can also create different sections. So if you're doing an essay on a particular thing, you can add it in there. And this is what your workspace will look like. So this is the topic I was researching on for this example. Oh, sorry, I have a couple more things to say. If we're back here, you can't download the book as one file, but you can download chapter by chapter, and there is no limit, so that's really important to note compared to the other ones. You can download the entire book, you just have to do it chapter by chapter, and any of these can be printed out after being downloaded. This share function is not for sharing chapters, so there's no way to share chapters. This link just goes straight to the main book. This share function is to share it on social media. All right, and then Jen's going to go on and talk a little bit about the National Emergency Library, and then we'll have one more book and then we'll wrap it up, or one more platform.
All right, thanks, Joanna. This is a really useful one that we wanted to show you because even though this is totally outside the library's collection, like we don't own this, we don't subscribe to it, it's just an online website, we want to show you it because actually it's a very, very fruitful source of a lot of ebooks that you can read online. It's very, very useful right now. So the National Emergency Library is created by the Internet Archive. And what they've done because of COVID-19, most libraries across North America were were closed. So a lot of libraries in Canada are still closed. So they want to set up a resource where people can go to get books, considering they can't go to the public library anymore or the academic library. So it's a pretty cool resource. We have a link to it here, again, on our page. You can see right there. Again, a few questions about FAQs and support. Again, you can find this here. It is in our listings under Find Resources, subject or title, and then or the ebook collection as well. You can also just Google National Emergency Library and it'll come up as well. Because again, it's totally outside the library. We don't own it, but it's just a free resource online. This is what it looks like. Again, it's from the Internet Archive. It's pretty easy. You can just do a quick search for titles or authors. It's probably more useful to search by title because there's so many books. There's millions of books in this collection. So it's really especially useful if you know what you're looking for. What I often find is students will want to borrow a print book from us, and either it'll be borrowed or we won't have it, or it's too inconvenient to send it, because normally if you borrow a print book from us, we mail it to you. If you don't have time, I will usually check the Internet Archive and see if it's there. So if you're looking for a book that is in print and you wanted to see if it's available, and again, particularly for older books, so books that are kind of 10 years older, 10 years or more old, are more likely to be on here. But it's pretty useful. In this instance, I've done a search for a person. So I'm interested in Angela Davis, so I want to know about her. I want to know books she's written. So I just did a quick search for her name, and quite a few came up. So once I find something that I want to look at, you just click on the cover of the book and it'll open it up so you can read it. But you do need to create an account. So with Internet Archive, you click on sign up and you create an account that's totally for free. Free account, really easy to set up. And once you do that, you click on this link and you can quote unquote borrow the book and read it online. So it's pretty useful. This book is very popular right now, so it's only available for an hour. What that means basically is that they have a limited number of people they want to look at it because it's really popular and they don't want to overload the bandwidth. So they suggest you borrow it for an hour. So click login and borrow, and then what you'll see is the book will open up. It's basically a scan of the entire book. So you can you flip through page by page, or you can scan across using the bar here, and you can flip through by these pages and zoom in and stuff. It's a really cool, useful feature. So, and once you're done with the book, you click on return it, and it's back in the system. Well, it stays in the system, but then it's more available for other people to look at too. So it's a really cool feature, and again, a lot of useful books on there. So I do recommend checking it out if you need something in print that we don't have. And now Joanna will talk about Project Muse.
Right. All right. Thanks, Jen. I know, yeah, National Emergency Library has been really helpful in this time when lots of people haven't been able, when we weren't always sending out books or people weren't always able to get physical books. So now we'll talk about Project Muse. So once again, we've got the guide here. They also didn't have a video tutorial, so that's why we're missing one there. Now, Project Muse and JSTOR are both quite social science heavy, so you can use them more for history and those types of topics versus Books 24/7, which was much more science-based, as Jen was saying. So once again, to find JSTOR, you can go into Find Resources on the top of the library homepage, and then Resources by Subject or Title in the middle column. And then you can select eBooks from the bottom drop-down and scroll down to Project Muse, or you could just select the P here. All right, so once we're in, like JSTOR, there's no Project Muse books link. So you have to search it and it's all going to look the same, and then you can select books to limit to. So we've got books there. So once we've selected an item we want to have a look at, there is no permalink option on here because their hyperlink is actually shareable. So that's why it's not listed there, which also means that you can share chapters with the hyperlink as well. So you can cite the whole book here. You'll see it provides several options. You can copy and paste these, and it provides the warning again that you need to make sure to go through and double check that these are correct. But at least it gives you all the information you'll need to start up. It breaks everything down into chapters once again. And you can download per chapter, like JSTOR, you can download the unlimited amounts. So you could download the entire book chapter by chapter. There's no way to download the book in only one download. That would be a very large file. And yes, as I said, you can share this if you're going to one of the chapters just by copying and pasting the hyperlink. This is one of the weird ones. It's hard to remember that. And then you can see you can also download it here or print it. You can also add it to your library. So, yes. So you would add it, save it to your library. You just click that when it's a save. This just says it's already been saved. And then this is what my library looks like. So you can see I've had to set up an account, but it does link to the university access. So that's really easy. There's no way to annotate. If we go back and have a look at this, there's no way to annotate anything in here, so we can't highlight or make notes. Yes, and then you can add it to your library, and you can see we've got all the items. You can have your My Muse library here, and that will always be there. So that's handy if you're using My Muse or Project Muse a lot. And it also shows if you viewed the item before, so that can be helpful as you're searching. And yeah, I think that's about it for Project Muse. So we can go on with some general tips. But first, I'm just going to post 2 more poll questions for you. First one, do you prefer physical books or ebooks? And second poll, after learning about these, are there any platforms you're going to try to use in the future? If you don't have an opinion, that's all right also. Awesome. Everyone is saying they prefer physical books, but unfortunately with everything going on, sometimes we're stuck using ebooks. So It's good to know the best ways. Yeah, National Emergency Library has been I see a lot of people are saying they'll use that in the future. It's been a really cool one just for finding, like for instance, Sister Outsider with all of the Black Lives Matter stuff going on. It's been a highly recommended book, and it's quite hard to get your hands on it, and they have it in National Emergency Library. So there's a lot of kind of rarer ones that you can't necessarily buy on there, or maybe don't want to. So that's cool. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close these, and we'll continue on with some general tips. Thanks to everyone who answered. Also, feel free to write any questions in the polls as we're going. So in terms of annotations and highlights, you need to be careful that to use these tools in the various e-platforms. It's best to save annotations and highlighted documents in one place. So a Word document or a spreadsheet. You can use a citation management software. For instance, Mendeley does allow you to upload the PDFs and highlight and take notes in there, but it's always best not to completely rely on those in case the software is perhaps down or somehow loses your information. It's always good to keep backups somewhere. So that's when Word or spreadsheets are unfortunately quite a bit easier to use. We do have a Keeping Organized webinar coming up in a couple of weeks, and that will go through a lot of different ways to go about keeping track of all your notes as you're doing research for your programs. Oh, and I'll add the link to our orientation page, our webinars page, so you can see our upcoming webinars as well.
Grab that.
Oh, I think I've got it. And then I think Jen already said this, but in terms of getting help, it's really good. We are happy to help you, but also these people are professionals on their topics, so they're going to know exactly the best ways to troubleshoot their particular softwares. So going through their support can be really helpful for you, and sometimes we'll probably have to go through them as well, just because there's so many different ones. And we'll repost the link to the ebook Frequently Asked Questions page. It was our featured tutorial this month, but I had to change it to an anti-racism resources one because that was a little bit more topical, but we'll put this one back up at some point. So you can also contact the library. So on our main homepage, you can click on Contact Us. I'll also post the link to that in the chat box. And as we said, library webinars are always a good place to find out more. And now we have time for your questions. I'm also just going to post our Facebook and Twitter pages because those are good ways to keep up with what's going on at the library. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions you've got.
Yeah, thanks, Joanna. And one thing I'll mention too is because most of the library, we're almost all of us working from home, we can't take your phone calls. So what we're doing is you can leave a voicemail if you choose, but we'll reply by email. So it's better to email us. So our Contact Us page has our email address on it, library@athabascau.ca. And that's the best way to get in touch. And we are taking a chat break over the summer. People need to go on vacation too, and people need to have some time off. So in order to accommodate that, we're going to take a break for the summer. Chat will be coming, today was the last day. We're coming back to chat in September. So your best option is the email function. And also we do drop-in sessions, Joanna and I, on Wednesdays and Fridays. So we're doing one tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So if you want to talk to us more about ebooks or about your research or anything you might need help with the library, you can drop in. It's really fun. It's on Microsoft Teams, and it's a little bit more informal. So yeah, were there any questions? Have students recommended a preferred device for reading? Not that I've heard, no. I'm not sure. Students kind of tend to use a variety of them. Typically they're on their desktop, but a lot of students will use an iPad or like a tablet of some kind. And the iPads and tablets you can use for ebooks, but what you might find is their functionality is a little bit different. Again, it gets complicated in that we have so many different platforms, so many different vendors, and so many different tools, and then web browsers and operating systems. It can get complex. But no, students don't really, they haven't really said they preferred any particular device at all.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think in terms of getting those on Kindle and stuff, it's a whole other, like you couldn't open these platforms on there because it's a whole other separate thing.
Complication as well is that typically the typical ebook platform is basically meant to be used on a desktop. And again, an e-reader, no. That's the thing. E-readers, like, they're not really compatible with e-readers very often. So that's another complication, is that they're web-based tools. They're not necessarily apps, and they're not really app compatible. If you have a Kobo or if you have a Kindle, yeah, they won't work on that. You'll have to use an iPad or a other internet-ready device. Some Kindles, actually, I don't know. I don't have a Kindle, but they might have internet access, and they might have a web, because they're web platforms, right? So they might have a web option, but I'm not sure. Yeah, it does get a bit complicated with all the technology and the different, different vendors and all that stuff. One thing I forgot to mention too is we did say that a lot of those ebook collections, you can't find the ebooks in our catalog. That's true, but if you do a Discover search, you can probably find the citation for the item. So if you do a search, say for Black Lives Matter in Discover, it will show you a whole bunch of citations for ebooks, and you can check to see if we have it. So that's another option that's a little bit faster than going into each individual collection. But again, we do have a Discover webinar that has more details on that. So if you want to check that out, again, as Joanna pointed out, our library webinars page is useful because it has our schedule as well as our recordings. So the recording for this webinar is going to go on our webinars page, and it's going to go on the FAQ guide as well. So it'll be in a few places. So, but if you want the recording next week sometime, check out library webinars. You can find it there. And Joanna has posted the link again, so thank you. So yeah, does anybody have any questions, or hopefully you're not feeling too overwhelmed or confused?
Yeah, I know Thursday afternoons, not everyone has the most brain power. Awesome. I'll just post a couple end polls, and if you think of any questions as you're going, feel free to post those in the chat box.
This is a brand new webinar for us. This is the first ebook webinar we've ever done. So thank you for being a patient audience. So if you have any suggestions for us, like slow down, or maybe talk about different platforms, or talk about, well, you didn't talk about this platform, I like this one, or any suggestions at all, or other topics you might be interested in, just let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. I know I could see that possibly people will come back to us with more platforms they're wondering about, and we can do another one on those also, or add them to the FAQ page.
You're welcome, Candice and Catherine. Thank you for attending, and I'm glad it's been helpful for you. And I think we'll stop recording. Oh, thanks, Joanna.
Oh, yeah.
And
Perfect.
We'll